Welcome to The Box Seat, brought to you by Brecon Farms. We've got a whole heap to get through over the next 60 minutes. Here's what's coming up. Tonight, on The Box Seat, John Dunn joins us with all of the insight from a massive Cup week. Cran Dalgety checks in as well, with a full Cup week wrap and what's next for Team Kentuckiana. We've crunched the numbers, the Pacers and Trotters power rankings are in. Will there be some big movers this week? Plus, it's everyone's favourite, the Quick Hitch. Fast, fun and loaded with opinion. We dive into the feature markets and get the team's thoughts on the newly released odds. And of course, bets of the week and the box seat boost to round us out. Strap in, the box seat starts now. As I mentioned, great to have Brecon Farms on board as our new sponsors of the box seat, and we wish them all the very best for the coming weeks, where there's plenty of good racing, not over here in Christchurch, but also up at Auckland as we look forward to their carnival. Let's take a look at last week's highlights before we say g'day to the team, and they'll give us their highlights for the week that was, because there sure was a few of them.
Now let go of everything now.
Leap to Fame's holding from Republican Party. The flame's still burning. Today we bow to greatness. Leap to Fame wins the free-for-all. What a pleasure to watch.
Always a lot of pressure when this horse is at the races, but today he's rolled to the front.
It was a great achievement today to back up after the tough run he had on Tuesday and do what he does best.
Could you hear them give him a big roar at the top of the straight? They're thrilled to see him here at Addington again.
Yes, that's right, Britt. It's a hell of a relief and for me and Trista, and I was really happy to hear the crowd getting behind him, for sure.
Gus leads Muscle Mountain and Oscar Bonavina. Gus still in front. Muscle Mountain having one crack. Gus, it's the Dominion free-for-all double for the Queenslander.
He's done what really some of the very best that we've ever seen here in New Zealand have only achieved, Pete, and that's to win the Dominion and the free-for-all. What a week.
Yeah, wow. It's unreal, really, to think what we've actually done. It's only just starting to set in that we, realise what we actually did Tuesday, but come back today and do it again. Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
Tracy the Jet, though, at the 100 metres. 4 lengths clear in the ascent. It's Jess Tubbs and James Herbertson and Tracy the Jet to win the ascent by 3 lengths.
I think you would have been pretty happy with that one, the great man. So, when you're able to win races like this for Jess after the year she's had, puts a big smile on your face.
Look, I don't think anyone can be surprised that I'm a bit emotional. I think I held my breath most of the way. She's not the most elegant trotter, but to get that win for Greg today is just really special. I'm so proud.
She's coming back, the filly. Petite Amour and Kai Valley Ray. They're shoulder to shoulder at the 75. Petite Amour, Kai Valley Ray. Who's the stronger? It's Kai Valley Ray. Kai Valley Ray. Some Group 1 glory here at the Met for Brent, Lily and Blair Orange. It's Australia again.
They didn't hand that one to you.
No, definitely not. Brad come out with a bit of purpose, and then his one blew to bits, and just happy to find my feet early, and had a wee look at Johnny, but sort of knew straight away the front wasn't available, Britt. So it wasn't a pretty drive, but I guess when you're on the better horses, they pull you through. So full credit to Brent and Tracy and Hayden and the team out at the farm there. They've done a wonderful job and just presented me with a lovely horse for today.
Marketplace is holding from Got the Chocolates. Marketplace, got the chocolates. Marketplace, got the chocolates. Gets up. It's a done deal.
He's unreal, Britt. The poor bugger hasn't had a good trip. I even said to Nath down the back, Christ, we're moving here. It's quite funny, we're slipping the trail for that brief second, actually picked the bit up and went again.
It must just be all worthwhile when you can win a $500,000 race.
Oh, it definitely is, Britt. We're a busy stable, we've got unbelievable staff, great owners, and when you win like this makes it all so much more special.
With the draw and Marketplace drawing 2, and it was just sort of a bit of a tricky situation, but he can sit out park and he's pretty cool, calm and collected, so it was, a bit of nerves, but we knew we could always, put his best foot forward.
All of Me in front. It's All of Me and Carter Dalgety for the Dunstan Horse Feed Sires final. All of Me, she's a cracking filly.
She's definitely not a ready-made 2-year-old. Only one who made in last start at Kokora, and the motor's sort of always been there, but the ring craft's definitely not. So yeah, she's got a lot to learn, but she's all class.
It's Faith in Manchester, and she's going to be a dual Waikato Trotting Breeders' Stakes winner. She's in blissful isolation, and the Wizard does it again with Faith in Manchester. Captain Samson, Little Spike's out and starting to thunder home down the outside now. Captain Samson, Little Spike on his home track is flying, and it's photos close enough to a dead heat. If I had to go for one, I'd go for the local Little Spike.
Well, that was the all-round highlights from last week, in particular show day. We'll go around the table and get the crew's highlights. Brittany Graham, Greg O'Connor. Britt, fantastic week. Was there one thing amongst a lot of things that stood out for you?
Probably the emotional win of the week, and it was the same for everyone, was the victory of Tracy the Jet. It's lovely to reflect on what Jess was able to achieve by bringing this star filly across, and we spoke to her after the race, and really it wasn't a plan that was really ever going to transpire until very much at the last minute. But I love those images of Jess after the race, just a pure relief to have achieved such an amazing feat to bring this filly across. It was a wonderful drive by James Herbertson as well. He just knows her so well, was able to balance her off the gate, stayed in front of You're Right Dar, which was an important piece of the puzzle, and then just allowed her to run her own race. And I think the most exciting bit is that she still has a little way to go. She was still a maiden back in April of this year. She's subsequently won 9 of her 10 starts this season. You can even just see the way she goes about her work. There's still development to come. So she's such an exciting horse, but that all-round story. And we spoke to Jess afterwards, Greg, and I know you'll attest to this. She mentioned that she's happy to talk about the emotional side of what's been a really tough year for her, because she loves talking about Greg and what they were able to achieve together and what she's been able to achieve since. So that was pretty special.
You all good, Greg? Another cracking week?
Yeah, been a great week, Matthew, and obviously that win was very, very special, but I just can't get past this. This is the greatest New Zealand Cup winning performance, run-wise, that I've ever seen. For a horse to be second last at the mile, to come 3 wide, on his own, outside our best Republican Party and Australasia's best, and actually go past them at the 100 metres like they were tied to one of those markers on the inside. Kingman's performance in the New Zealand Cup was nothing short of staggering. We get to see him again this Friday night. Probably even more so for me was what it meant to Luke McCarthy. Like, he's won everything. He's won every major race multiple times as well. He had a 2-year-old win a feature race in North America over the weekend too. He's just on a real heater at the moment, but to see what it meant to him was probably as special as anything.
Well, it's the race, isn't it, even for the Australians when they come over, and he mentioned that in his post-race interview. Super performance. I thought the best performance of the week was this horse. What an astonishing run, if you bear in mind what they've run on the clock. These two horses, well, Marketplace has got 5 lengths better. Got the Chocolates has got about 7 or 8 lengths better. It's as simple as that. If you take Got the Chocolates out, you'd be saying that it was one of the greatest performances ever from Marketplace, but he's just gone to a whole different level, and we're in for some great battles. And the man who had the best seat in the house is John Dunn, and he's joined us on the box seat. Johnny, I reckon that race was up there with Sunday Sun v Muscle Mountain. Are you kind of in agreement with me there as I say g'day to you?
Yeah, evening all, and yeah, it definitely was. It was a torrid old street battle up the straight, and like you say, he's just improved, my fellow. Marketplace has too, but amazing how much it's improved this side of winter.
Johnny, congratulations to you. 217.6. When you put it into perspective, South Coast Arden has gone 217, winning a New Zealand free-for-all. Cruise Bromac 218.5, winning a New Zealand free-for-all. The time, I know the wind dropped and the track's in unbelievable condition, but look at the way you've run away these two horses from faderweights, Better's Anvil, Queensland Derby winner, Ribera, Captain's Mistress. It's quite staggering, the distance between you and the rest.
Yeah, it is really. Like you say, the track was in great order, wind did die, but the time these two are going, and we've been seriously good horses. Like, you'd love to own any of those 3-year-olds behind these two. So it's not like we've sort of been just average horses by that margin and the way they're doing it. We've been good horses.
Johnny, congratulations. It's so exciting to see this continual battle between these two really great 3-year-olds. You've mentioned the improvement he's made. Can you put it down to any one thing? Was it just the trip north and then a breakthrough winter? Has he developed physically? Or is it just a case that now's his time to shine and he's full of confidence?
Yeah, well, sort of a few things really. Like the trip north definitely did help him. It was amazing. I've said it a few times. Amazing how he bounced back off that brutal, disappointing run in the Great Northern Derby. Come down here 2 weeks later and front up again against Marketplace and run him so close. Sort of had a break since then, and he's definitely come back stronger, mentally and physically stronger. And one good thing about this fella, not much worries him. A lot of people even said before the race the other day, he's standing in the middle of the track like a statue, which a few horses are on edge a fraction, and he just sort of takes it all in his stride. So he's a very exciting horse to have in the stables.
Johnny, this rivalry between you two, I've done the stats for you. 18 starts. What do you reckon it is? What do you reckon the score is between you two?
Pretty close. It wouldn't be much between it.
9-all. 9-all, 9 times Quinellas. Obviously, in recent times, Marketplace leads 4-2 in those Group 1s, but when it comes to the head-to-head battle leading into the Derby, it's 3-zip to you this time, and 3 times you've had to sit outside him. So confidence levels going up to the 2,600 metres for you?
Yeah, I don't think it should. Only once over the trip, Marketplace beat us fair and square. It was sort of my fault. I sort of asked a bit too much of him early and he never come back to me over the 2-7 in Auckland. But one good thing, this guy should find the trip out fine. He relaxes in his runnings, and that's a big key, especially when you go over the longer distance.
I guess, Johnny, the big query is who lands where, and as we can see, he's opened up nice and short, your fellow, in this Friday night's New Zealand Pacing Derby. Are we still of the opinion that, I think the score is settled, that Marketplace is quicker off the arm? Is that still a little concern, the fact that more often than not you're giving away that tactical advantage? And how big of a difference does it make now they're stepping up in distance once more?
Oh, it's definitely not ideal. Marketplace has, he gets off the arm, puts himself in that good position from the get-go. So definitely a little bit of concern, but I don't want to be sitting outside Marketplace every start, put it that way. Like, you can't drive my fella the way I have been driving him every start. So nice trip one day would be good, and especially have a longer distance. But I'm drawing inside him again. I'm going to come out as best I can and just try and stay as handy as I can throughout the running.
Johnny, it's a great rivalry, and I think it's what racing needs, and we're all following it with great intrigue. Another feature for you guys over the week was the Neverly R final with Celestial Sea. On a day where barrier draws didn't really matter, you seemed to just get such a nice run into the race, and this horse is such a good stayer, so the step up to 2,600 this week should hold no fears for her either.
No, she should suit the distance. She raced over once before and handled that well. So, I was very lucky. It was a bad draw before the race. The way the race was run and the sort of trip we got, it actually worked out really well. So, still not ideal. We're drawing 14 over the longer distance this week. So, hopefully they just go hard those early stages like they did the other day and bring us back into play.
Bit of a random one, Johnny, but I just wanted to ask about, I've watched that replay a few times and it looked as though you switched the persuader from the right hand to the left hand at the top of the straight. Is that something that you do often, or is it just to straighten her up? Because I found it intriguing in such a hard-fought battle to the line, you even had time to think about doing something like that.
Yeah, I've actually been pretty lucky. I've done that a fair few times right from when I sort of started out driving. So she just went to lug in a bit and jump on the outside rein, so I sort of give a wee flick on the inside with the left hand, and she sort of straightened up and balanced up good. So, yeah, it worked for her.
Johnny, I made a statement a year ago that once I got given this by your owner, it had to make an appearance on the show. There you go. What the chocolates it is. I don't know if I look like a schoolboy or something.
You look great.
AC/DC or something.
Leave it on for the show.
You've got some great supporters of the barn, but the connections involved with this horse will be delighted that I'm now wearing their hat.
Yeah, very good, Greg.
Johnny, what about your team for the upcoming week? You've obviously got a huge amount of numbers around you at the moment. Can you steer us into one maybe outside of a Got the Chocolates or a Celestial Sea? Is there something you're looking forward to on Friday?
You're right, though. Got an ideal draw at 2, especially with Tracy the Jet drawing 1. And I'm not saying I would have beaten her the other day, but I'm pretty sure I would have gone pretty close. So one that got away, so hopefully you can turn the pages at. Just turn the page and have luck this week.
And Petita Moore's pretty short in the 2-year-old trot as well. She seems to have a bit of bottom to her, and I guess you must have been extremely proud for her run the other night, running second, considering how quick they went.
Oh, definitely. Manners were there, and it was a good sport. I know Blair's one sort of got away with the last sort of 50 metres, but it was a great effort of the horse of that calibre. So, and she tried right at the line.
And just a quick word on Scrunch. Can you give me any confidence around him in the last?
Yeah, it was a nice field, very even field, and come up with a great barrier draw. So we'll be trying to use that marble, and the way sort of went Cup Day, he'd have to go very close. All luck going his way on Friday night.
All right, and you've got it tough as well on the Christian Cullen too. So all the best there, Johnny. Thanks for joining us. Really good to have you on the show.
Really good, thanks, Winky.
All right, good on you, John. Thank you. From one very successful stable to another, Cran Dalgety joins us on the box seat. Cran, I think this might be the first time we've had you on the box seat for the new era, so welcome, and I must say I love the shirt.
I put it on just for you, Winky.
You're a great man. Freeze Frame, obviously such a great highlight. Family Affair, Kimberly Butts, her first Group 1 in the sulky. I'm sure that must have given you and the family such a huge thrill there on Cup Day.
Yes, it's sort of been an interesting story. Racing comes with great stories. 3 weeks ago, she wasn't even in the equation to drive the horse, and she drove him in the heat, and then lucky enough we couldn't take her off to the final, and there we go.
Congratulations, Cran, not only on this Group 1, another one on show day as well, and a terrific week. Republican Party didn't get the result in the Cup, but obviously an excellent run from him in the free-for-all. And, man, you have not let us down shirt-wise tonight. I thought I looked a little bit weird with this Got the Chocolates hat on, but it's right up there with your best, Craniel.
Well, if I put the hat on, it'd be extra special, eh?
Yeah, well, I can probably get you one. Look, the performance of Republican Party, I just want to talk to you about him. The bounce back for the little guy you call Stewie, of course. Terrific run from him in the free-for-all.
Yes, we thought we could have run the big guy Leap to Fame for his money, and we got a good trip behind the star Leap to Fame, and Carter got up beside him about 100 to go and thought he might actually give him a run, but then Grant just went for another gear, so we just had to take second. But to finish second behind a superstar, a $5 million producer, that was just as much as a win for us.
Here you are turning for home, Cran. I know you were on track, and I've said and discussed this with a couple of people. The noise of the crowd, in terms of how many people were there, was about as good as it got at this particular moment, wasn't it?
Well, actually, funny you say that. That gives you a bit of a warm fuzzy, that. And obviously the Kiwi crowd were cheering for the Kiwi. And, so that I think that helped the horse another length, but we needed several lengths.
Cran, congratulations on a great week for the stable. But just on Republican Party, with his success throughout the last few months and his second there on Friday, he's, I guess, harness racing's newest millionaire. That's something that's not easy to achieve. And to be fair to him, he's made the bulk of his earnings as an older horse. His 2- and 3-year-old seasons were nice, but it's not easy to do what he has done. So that must be really special.
Hello, Brett. Yes, that is very true, because you do see a lot of stars win a lot of money as a 2- or 3-year-old, and he was a nice 2- and 3-year-old. He wasn't a star by any means, but that's a perfect observation. That's exactly what it has. He's done it the hard way, or with the big dogs, and to crack $1 million with a standardbred is pretty good going.
Cran, just back to the Dunstan Size Stakes final, all of me. Watching her out there in the prelim, she is far from the full package, but you've always said to me that the best fillies, they're big, they're grumpy looking, and they can rough and tumble it, and she seems to fit that profile perfectly.
Yes, got a head on her like only a mother could love, but a big frame, and she probably wants another 25k on her as in weight, and she'll be bigger and better, but she's just got low down raw stamina.
All right, so you're thinking in 12 months' time she could be right up the pecking order, maybe as one of our better 3-year-olds then?
I'd like to think she's going to be very progressive from here on in, and we're very fortunate to get some great blue blood stock from the Kennies at Woodland Stud, and she will progress.
And on Cup Day, the horse better known as Franco Sinatra, what a job he's done. Not often you see a horse win all of their races at Addington. He's been somewhat of a quiet achiever, I guess, but he really put his hand up there on Cup Day, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He did get a nice trip in the 1-1, which looked good, but Carter's had a lot of work to do. From the 500 on, he, as we saw, the top ender got away on him, and he did it to dig in to actually do it. So he did grunt it out really good.
All right, what do you got for us this week, Cran? Is there something that you'd be disappointed wasn't going close to getting in the winner's circle on Friday?
Well, I suppose our new stable star driver, Kimberly Butt's going to drive Queen's Gambit for us, and she's actually really improved since her last run, and I think she can do a real good job.
And just what about beside me in the Pacing Oaks? I know you haven't had the greatest of preparations with her. Is she somewhere near her best?
She's coming that way, but the only doubt is just not having raced for probably maybe 5 weeks from race to race, so that's probably the only thing against us. But on talent, she's going to give a good showing, but just race day talent, race day fitness, I should say, is a major necessity, so it's probably what she's missing a little bit.
All right, Cran, it's no mean feat getting 2 horses in either of the 2-year-old sire stakes, but to take them home, I'm sure that'd be a great big tick on your career. I know that the New Zealand Cup has got away once again for you, but the 2-year-old features a pretty decent job. So to you and the team, well done.
Thank you. So any win's a great win. Let alone we love training the juveniles, and to get both of them was a big bonus, naturally.
All right, there's Cran Dalgety. Good to have him and John Dunn here on the box seat with us. Time for us to get to Craig the Whale Thompson. Let's see what he's found for us this week.
Yeah, hi team, great to be joining you on the box seat on a Tuesday night. Well, my highlight this week from the north comes to you from Cambridge Raceway on Tuesday afternoon. Crackerjack was an apt performance by him. Peter Ferguson wearing the black armbands, rolling in front, took over at the 1,000-metre mark, and the Sun and Majestic Sun, who's been lightly raced, only 16 starts. That was his 4th win, beautifully handled by Fergie. Didn't activate the deafness, got the job done nicely, timely win for him. He'll go to the Derby, big step up for him at Addington Raceway on Friday, but I think his main target will be the Golden Gate final through December. It looks a good race for him, but nice win. Well done to Dylan and Joe and Crackerjack and Peter Ferguson. As far as a catch this week, a horse that I thought's been ultra consistent and deserves a breakthrough maiden win is American Falcon. Go to Auckland last Friday night. 2 weeks ago, in front in the hands of Matty White here. Pulls the plugs, beaten by an exceptionally nice 2-year-old called Nazare. Gets up the inside here for Anna Donnelly. 4 starts, 4 placings, 56, 26.6. Couldn't have gone any better. Goes to Cambridge Thursday night trying to get that first bonus win for the team, and I think will be very hard to beat. So American Falcon, he's the catch this week. As far as a star trialist in a black booker, I want to go to Cambridge Raceway. From the trials the other day, a horse we haven't seen since May, yes, that's right, 6 months ago, is Hillbilly. In front here, in the hands of Emily Johnson's got on its back Pat Yates from the Tony Hurley barn, and they sped over 249, 58, 28.7. Nice trotter this. He'll go to the Metro Heats at Alexandra Park Friday night. It is a mobile 2,200 metres, which really suits him. He's unfortunately drawn the second row, but I don't think it'll make a difference, and he's come back exceptionally well. Lightly raced 3-year-old and a really nice type Hillbilly for Sean McCaffrey. I'll be back on Thursday. Of course, our Whale Watch preview for the 4 meetings on Thursday. Don't forget, you get my best on Thursday afternoon with the form and Philippa Morris. And of course, Friday Night Lights. It's a massive night out of Addington Raceway. 5 Group 1s. A huge night there. Looking forward to catching the rest of the show with you guys. Let's bring it on.
Here they are, the latest Pacers Power Rankings. In 5th this week, Got the Chocolates. The 3-year-old superstar stunned everyone with his gritty win in the Velocity and fully deserves his spot inside the 5. At number 4, Akuta. No luck for him during Cup Week, but his record and class keep him hanging on in the 5th spot in this week's Power Rankings. Number 3, We Walk by Faith. A tough 5th in this year's New Zealand Cup firmly cements his spot in the rankings. Runner-up, Merlin. Back-to-back thirds in the New Zealand Cup and the New Zealand Free-for-All keep the Northern Wizard locked into the 2 spot. And still the standard bearer, Republican Party. A little below his best in the Cup, but he bounced back with a big 2nd in the Free-for-All, and that's why he stays on top of the Power Rankings this week.
So just for anybody who's wondering why a horse like Kingman or A Leap to Fame hasn't made it onto the Power Rankings, it's pretty much across the 12-month period we're doing it. We all put in, 4 of us, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top 5 performances of the week, and we just have a rolling total. So that is why Republican Party remains at the top. But no surprise, Michael Guerin, to see Got the Chocolate sneak his way into the top 5. What a performance from him amongst some brilliant efforts over the week. How was the week for you?
I loved it, Matt. I thought it was amazing. It was confusing. I saw things that I didn't think could happen, like Kingman sitting 3 wide to win the Cup was remarkable. I thought Gus was incredible. What Got the Chocolates did when you consider his times, they're great. It's funny, we're now discounting Marketplace and saying, you know, he isn't going as good as he was. But if you took Got the Chocolates out of the last 6 weeks, Marketplace would be winning these races in record times by 3 or 4 lengths, and we'd be saying that Marketplace is the next Lazarus. So it's an incredible week. I haven't really pulled it to pieces enough, Matt, because obviously we're looking forward to this week, but let's look all the way forward. The news coming out tonight, we're announcing it on the box seat, that the Night of Champions at Cambridge has been confirmed again. Now, it was going to go ahead, but we weren't quite sure what level it was going ahead at, because there's a lot more slot races than there used to be, and it's quite often hard to get $1 million worth of slots. So we're telling the viewers at home, it is confirmed. April the 10th, Night of Champions at Cambridge, and the pacing race, which was the race by Betcher. I'm not saying they won't be sponsoring this year, but no sponsor announced yet. Confirmed at $1 million. $60,000 slot to buy in, and the people who had slots this year get first take on slots for next year. Trot's the same. $600,000, so $600,000. That's if they get the full bunch of horses, the full 10, and it's $40,000 plus GST to buy a slot there. So David Branch, who was the man who thought up these races and brought them to life, he is handling the slots. He's no longer the chief executive at the club. He's moved on to a private business of his own, but he'll be handling the slots. So over the next couple of weeks, Matt will see anybody who's got a slot has first take. And then I would presume, I don't know this, but I would presume people like McHarvey, maybe the Seymours. That's a really interesting question we'll get to in a second about Leap to Fame. And those sort of people may buy into slots. As I say, a horse like a Duchess Megxit team drops out, one would presume. And for the Trotters, you would think maybe the Lees or people like that with Kiang Zahara or Jilby Ballerini look to buy slots as other horses fall out the other side. It's going to be really interesting, but it is confirmed. April the 10th, it'll be going ahead the richest night in harness racing. So, Matt, that's great. It's awesome for the North, but it does lead to a very obvious question for the first of our quick hitches tonight.
Time now for Quick Hitch. If you have any ideas at home about what you'd like us to talk about on Quick Hitch, feel free to get in touch with us and give us a few ideas. You know the rules, 20 seconds each. If you talk over, you will be muted. Our first Quick Hitch, we're going to start with you, Greg. Speaking of Night of Champions, if there was one horse and one horse only that is a must lock in for the night to make it the best possible night, who is it?
Well, I think now it's clearly Kingman. Has to be, off the back of him beating both Swayze and Leap to Fame. He comes to Addington, sits 3 wide for the last lap and a bit and beats them up like way too good. So Kingman is absolutely numero uno. Trotting-wise, I think Gus, you'd have to want him on your table card, I reckon.
Well, for me, I think Kiang Zahara adds just the ultimate level of intrigue. She has had such an exciting career so far. She's captured the imagination of the New Zealand public, and with the trotting gate being able to promote internationally, hopefully, come the night of champions, she still only had the one defeat, Michael. I think that she would add something.
Hard to argue with either of you, but look, if Leap to Fame comes back, I think it's the last time we'll see him in New Zealand. I think it's an exclamation point on his career. And that whole defending champion, can he fight off Kingman? Can he beat the New Zealanders again? I think Leap to Fame would be the best horse to get there. There's plenty of other great ones. Kiang Zahara, second on the list. I'm just glad it's coming back.
Quick Hitch number 2, starting with you, Britt. Cup Day, Show Day. Should we go back to 12 races?
I think Cup Day probably stands on its own, that you can get away with longer days to keep people engaged. But I have an idea around Show Day, condensing it even further. I'd just love to see what was there on Friday. 7 feature races back to back to back. It's a long week. It's hard to keep people engaged. I think it would add an element of difference.
I think once you go to 12, you might as well go to 13. God, it was a long day on the Friday. I don't mind it, but I do think that both days started relatively slowly, and I thought Cup Day, the first 5 races, didn't add much to the day. I know they're important, but I don't feel turned on to race 6, guys.
I think definitely we'll go to 12 Cup and Show Day. That'll be discussed at a review meeting next week, but I think 13's a heck of a long day. The other thing I hope that is reviewed is the length of Show Day. Well, I think we should start finishing at 7:30 and work way back, other than starting at 2 and going all the way to about 8:30.
Quick Hitch number 3, Michael, you to start us this time around. Should the late payment fee for the IRT New Zealand Trotting Cup be $50,000?
No. No, there shouldn't be a late payment for the New Zealand Trotting Cup. There's absolutely no reason to have one. It doesn't make any sense. It's not like these horses are 3-year-old gallopers and they've just graduated and qualified for the Japan Cup or the Arc. We know they're open class horses. Pay up early doors like everybody else does and don't compromise the market.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with what Michael said, and I said it a couple of weeks ago as well, and I think Michael might have said no. 50,000, 100,000, it wouldn't matter. The punters are being dudded. This horse that won it, Kingman, wasn't in the market virtually up until the last week, and then it dropped in, so all of those other bets were gone.
But how much intrigue did he add to the race? And similarly, 12 months ago, how much intrigue did Swayze coming in at the last minute add? I think it has its place. $50,000 is probably more of a deterrent. You really have to run top 3 to make it worthwhile. At the moment, with $15,000 back to last, I guess it absorbs a lot of that cost.
All right, I've got a curly one for you. Greg?
Yes?
Should Tuesday of Cup Week be the free-for-all day? And should Friday be where the Cup and the Dominion sit?
Well, the free-for-alls struggle each and every year because they go over 2 miles on Tuesday. However, the corporate nature of IRT New Zealand Trotting Cup Day means that there's absolutely no chance it'll switch. It's a nice talking point, Michael, but Tuesday, the second Tuesday in November, will be retained.
I think it's the one thing in harness racing we don't need to change much at all. It's just a wonderful, great day. The other problem is this. The 2 biggest crowds of the week are the Tuesday and the Saturday. You might get people doubling up. You run them back-to-back, Friday to Saturday. I don't think anybody's going to be backing up for those ones. So, no, leave them as it is. And as we said, maybe just shorten them up a little touch.
I'm all for innovation and change if it's going to improve or spice things up a little bit, but I think tradition is also extremely important. Unless there's a really good reason to change them, I think it works as it is, and everyone knows the New Zealand Cup's run on the second Tuesday in November.
Oh, very well answered. And with 5 seconds to spare as well. Final one, Britt, we're going to come straight back to you. World Driving Championship, was it a success? And was it at the right time of year?
I think it was a success. Of course, it's all about the almighty dollar and how much it cost, and I'm sure it's not a cheap undertaking to be involved in, but let's look at the facts. It's basically a marketing opportunity. We were able to market New Zealand harness racing to the world. Did it work timing-wise? Is there ever a perfect time? I guess it seems a logical spot for it.
Yeah, look, it was from a point of view of getting exposure for the country. How could you forget the pictures out of Kaikoura? They got to go down south, they got to go to Cambridge, and they obviously got to drive on the ultimate day, being IRT New Zealand Trotting Cup Day. You're right, I'm not sure how much it costs, and the investment, will it be returned?
Yeah, well, I don't think it'll be a return to beating. I don't think that's the key factor to it. But and Melbourne Cup Week is a really, really tough time to try and get publicity outside the industry. But most of the publicity for this is inside the industry, but globally. I liked it. I thought it was a great success being what it was. And I think we don't need to overthink it too much because it couldn't stand alone. It's not strong enough to stand alone, I believe, Matt.
All right, time for us to go to a break with our trotting power rankings.
Now to the Square Gators, this week's Trotters Power Rankings. In 5th and new to the list, Mr. Love. A massive second in the Dominion launches Mr. Love straight into the rankings. 4th this week, Gus. The star who made Cup Week his own, completing a historic Dominion trotting free-for-all double. That effort holds him firmly in 4th. 3rd, Bet and Win. A strong 5th in the Dominion and 6th in the trotting free-for-all keeps Bet and Win locked into 3rd spot. 2nd, Oscar Bonavina. 3rd in both the Dominion and the trotting free-for-all, Oscar proves he's still one of the elite trotters in the country. And number 1, Muscle Mountain. No luck in Tuesday's Dominion, but he nearly pulled off a huge win in the free-for-all, finishing a neck behind Gus. That run keeps Muscle Mountain at the top of this week's Power Rankings.
Here's what's on this week in harness racing. We kick off on Wednesday with Ascot Park's midweek meeting. A strong Southland program with a mid-afternoon start and plenty of local form to sink your teeth into. Then on Thursday, it's a double header. First, the Rangiora Harness Racing Club's midweek Twilight, a twilight card under the North Canterbury sky, always a favourite this time of year. Also on Thursday, Out the Gate heads to Cambridge for their night meeting. The Waikato underlights, fast paces, fast times, and always a few surprises. Friday, it's Friday Night Lights. Addington hosts New Zealand's Age Group Classic Night. A stacked card with some of the best young pacers and trotters from Australasia. And up north at Alexandra Park, they have their Metro Heats Night. A true Auckland staple as we build toward their summer features. And to close out the week with the Sunday Sesh, the Banks Peninsula Trotting Club's Fibre Fresh Race Day. Grass track harness in one of the most picturesque settings in New Zealand. A huge week of racing, all live, all covered, right here on Trackside and trackside.co.nz. Well, normally this time of year we get to the Monday, Tuesday after Cup Week, we can all sit back, put the feet up and enjoy the week that was without any sort of hectic racing to come. But Friday nights we have many Group 1s, including the Christian Cullen, where Kingman is going to line up after his IRT New Zealand Trotting Cup victory. Has the outside of the gate, $1.50 into $1.45. Britt, the question is, can they beat him? If so, who?
Well, not on his performance last Tuesday. I'm not sure how they possibly could. Back to his own age, he's had a little more time to settle in. He's had a good 10 days to get over that torrid trip, and I just can't foresee any horse wanting to park him either, Greg. It's mainly going to be a battle to who finds his back, and then I'm fairly certain they'll all be happy to wave him on.
Well, obviously no Leap to Fame, no Merlin, so 4th and 5th are there. Better knuckle up, we walk by faith. But Michael, as good as they went in the Cup, he just went panels better, and barrier 9's probably a good slot for him because Luke can just sum it up, move around when he wants, and probably do what he did the second Tuesday in November.
And they do a lot of that at Menangle, Greg, when Luke's out wide, 7, 8, 9 at Menangle. Often they'll just slide across the front of the field, park up, get round the first bend, then press on. So he's used to that style of racing. And often when Luke does that in a race, and we saw it a couple of years ago in the Blacks Are Fake, he'll then turn it into a mile race. He'll just pull back, relax, because no one's going to challenge him, and run home as quick as he wants. I think he's probably unbeatable on last week's form. What's going to be really interesting this Friday is how many horses carry their form from last week, because it was such hard racing, and usually the winners carry it better than other horses because they were superior. But I can't remember a week like last week where so many horses were exhausted, dropping out. Into Dominion champions were dropping out in races. I think he'll be totally fine, but somewhere this week, Matt, surely not all of last week's winners turn up in the same form this Friday.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the case somewhere, Michael. Greg, you take Kingman out. We're in a pretty good place. 12 months' time, these horses are all going to probably be in the Cup. Pretty decent that we've been able to hold all these horses back in New Zealand, because in years gone by, half of these, they'd be gone.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason that Kingman's in the race, and we've been talking about this race for ages, about how deep it is. Your Sideshow Bruce, the Lazarus Effect, horses really on the rise, and then they've got to cop the Cup winner, which is not really what they were expecting. But, gee, there's some really emerging talent here. And you throw the Got the Chocolates and Marketplaces in and some of these horses for the Cup next year. It's pretty exciting stuff. This week, they got their work cut out, though.
Well, the better knuckle-ups and the We Walk by Faiths of the world, they could not have done any more than what they did in the Cup. They were both superb. So it's remarkable to think that they're going around at such significant prices, drawing better over their major rival. But just that performance, it was incredible.
Well, everyone's going to be thinking, Britt, where he's drawn, let's get to the markers. So who gets there first and who's the 2 or 3 horses sitting behind him for you?
And for many of them, all of their lead-up racing has been standing starts as well. So back to the mobile, who's going to leave the gate best? I think there could be a little bit on early, but Luke McCarthy will just completely stay out of those burns, knowing that once he moves, I'd say the lead will be there for him.
Right, who runs second?
I'm going to say Sideshow Bruce. I reckon in on the markers, he might be 3, worst case 4. If they go as hard as what I think they might, I reckon he'll be able to power up. I know he got beaten last time by It's Tough, who's a really good horse as well, but I'd love to see him follow in a helmet and get a few breaks late, because I think he'll hit the line strongly. The other logical 2 are We Walk by Faith and Hadron Collider.
Michael, Kingman out. Who do you want your life resting on?
I've already had a bet, Matt. Better knuckle up was ridiculous place money. He was 2.7 for a place. Now, he went 4th in the Cup, but the horses who ran 2nd and 3rd aren't there. So, of this bunch, he's run 2nd in the Cup. That's the New Zealand Cup. They had it last week. How's he possibly playing $2.70? Don't get me... I'm not disrespecting any of the other horses in the race. They are genuinely very good horses. I love the Lazarus Effect. It's cool. But would he have run 4th in the New Zealand Cup? It's 2.7 a place. It should be second favourite. It defies logic. You can make a case We Walk by Faith can be in front of him because he's a proven open class horse. But you can't make a case that any of these other horses would have run 4th in the New Zealand Cup.
That's why we have you on the show, Michael. We appreciate it. Britt, same question to you. Kingman out. Who are you on?
We Walk by Faith for me. Okay. I think his preparation and his performances in lead up to the Cup were of a horse who's obviously going to make it in the open class. In fact, I think he has 0 to 1 a Taylor Mile. So he's the most proven outside of Kingman for me.
I'll be having $1 on Vesem, drawn 1. I think he's probably not the class horse of the field, but if they burn a 3.6 or a 3.7, you just want to be on the markers doing no work, and he's probably that horse. Good luck to everybody having a play there in the Christian Cullen. Can the Kiwis beat Kingman? Market says no, but stranger things have happened. Now this, I thought we had the race of the week last week with the Velocity, but this could well be it, 2,600. Britt, should John Dunn be slightly worried about the 2,600, knowing what happened last time? He tried to sit outside of Marketplace, got the chocolates, was all done at the quarter, and Marketplace left him for dead, or is it a totally different story now? 29
lengths was the margin between them in the Great Northern Derby. Has he improved 29 lengths? That's a hard bow to draw, isn't it? But either way, I'm surprised at such the significant turnaround. I know you look at that and think, well, now he's drawn inside him and he sat outside him and beat him last week. But I think we're all of the opinion that if they wish to with Marketplace, he'll get across, got the chocolates early on, and then the decision is made. And I know that he beat him on merits last week, got the chocolates over Marketplace, but it was a half a neck margin. It wasn't as though we beat him by a significant space. I think the staying trip is certainly an evener. Maybe it's just who's bounced out of that really torrid effort the best.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to turn the tables, but he will be in front of him. And how the races run, where does the other pressure come from? If it's just turned into a sprint home, which I don't think John Dunn will want to be part of, then Marketplace can beat him. Michael, the difference in price, do you think that's right?
I think anybody who's backed Marketplace the last 3 starts has lost their money. I was one of them. I backed him last week. I lost my money. I'm not going to back him again, not because I don't love the horse, because he's a magnificent horse, but the other horse keeps beating him. I've had a bet in this race. I've said that twice now on this show. I backed Peter's Amble, because why wouldn't you? Like, these horses have been incredibly consistent at the moment. either Marketplace wins and got the Chocolates run second, and Ribera runs third, and Better's Amble runs fourth. That's how it basically works every week. Ribera's gone home, and then Grease Lightning's the next one. So top 3, giving $1.60 for him, where I think he'll go straight to the marker pegs because the horse inside him's 4-1. Get on the marker pegs, and he'll be following one of the other horses over 2,600 metres. It was the most logical bet of the week. I had a 4-figure bet on it last night. I'm going to watch it go around, and then after that, they'll put more money in my TRB account, and then I'll decide what to do with that.
Happy days. You make it sound so simple, Michael. Well, this Garrard's once again.
That one actually is simple. That is an absolute no-brainer. I have never seen in my time in harness racing a bunch of horses that keep running first, second, third, and fourth has got the Chocolates, Marketplace, Ribera, and this horse, and Ribera's gone.
Right, we're going to put the hat around after the show. We might put 50 in each. Garrard's again sponsoring the New Zealand Pacing Derby. Great to have them on board, as it is Tennant Engineering with the New Zealand Pacing Oaks for the 3-year-old fillies. What a deep group of 3-year-old fillies we've had, Britt. The evenness, there's been a lot shared around. Captain's Mistress has gate 1. Duchess of Kent will probably be an improver. Arafura out to the longer trip. Hard to pick one with a whole lot of confidence.
Well, as Michael mentioned earlier, there was a lot of horses that had very tough runs last week, and I think many of them came out of this 3-year-old fillies division. Captain's Mistress was chasing those 2 superstar boys. Arafura was 3 and 4 wide the trip. You could go through this whole field. So I think, again, stepping out over distance, it's going to come down to who has bounced out of that the best. Really tough for Captain's Mistress fresh up to have such a soul-searching run. And then you add in Beside Me to this group where for much of the season we've thought she was the clubhouse leader, and maybe she's the fresh legs. I think Arafura off the back of her Northern Oaks win is the best stayer of the group, but just that lack of gate speed keeps putting her in precarious positions.
I spoke to Nathan Williamson, Michael, earlier today just to get a take on where Captain's Mistress is at, and he said, look, I wasn't disappointed in her run in the Velocity. He said, I had to treat it as a trial. Barrier 1 obviously had a huge part to play there, and she seems to have bounced off it quite nicely. I still think she's the benchmark filly. I think that she can take a trail. Behind who, I'm not totally sure. Maybe Duchess of Kent. And therefore she's the one to beat. She actually broke the record, national record, for a 3-year-old filly last week and finished, what, in 6th position?
It's great info, Greg. It's funny, we talked about the boys relatively running in the same order, apart from the first 2 taking turns, all season, all year. They've done the same thing. The girls are just swapped and changed, and as Britt said, Beside Me was at one stage the best filly, then Arafura. I was just really taken by Arafura last week, but I really don't have any idea what to make of this crop. I think it's the one who gets the best run, or the run that suits their skill set the best, because Arafura's skill set's probably different from some of the rest. If I had to have a bet in this race, I would probably back her. But, gee, they're a very even, interesting bunch of horses. And that's being slightly disrespectful to Celestial Sea, who was so good last week winning a Neville final. So, don't know what to make of this bunch. Exciting to watch. And you're going to make the case, because we're really close to the end of the season, that really valuable 3-year-old filly of the year title might be decided in this race.
Greg, just the other 2 Hayden and Amanda Cullen runners. I see Blair's opted for General Jen, inside second row. Well, bit of logic there following Captain's Mistress. Probably wouldn't be much between it and Winelight, though.
No, Winelight was in season as well. They had a bit of a problem with her going into Tuesday. So, yeah, I imagine she'd bounce out of that. But, yeah, being in on the markers over the 2,600 metres, so I think that's probably where the decision lay.
Would General Jen worry you over 2.6, even though she's going to be on the pegs?
A little bit, and I think that they've been pretty open that she's obviously a better short course filly, but a race of this stature in the backyard, and she didn't have a super tough run last week either. So I guess you roll the dice and hope that at the back end of her 3-year-old year, she's just strengthened up that little bit, and hopefully she settles as well, because she's been a little racy in the past.
Yeah, looking forward to that. The Group 1 Tennant Engineering New Zealand Pacing Oaks. Garrard's Horse and Hound getting behind the New Zealand Trotting Derby. The next of our Group 1s on Friday. Tarragindi at 5, you never know. Gateshead's Gem both at 6. Down to the favourite Meant to Be. Greg, what did you make of him the other day? Seemed to be a little bit better on the bends.
Oh, I thought he was terrific. Like, he just had absolutely no luck. He couldn't get into the race. Tracy the Jet was obviously in front. He got a bad check around the final bend, Brittany. and was lucky to stay on his feet and had the audacity to pick himself up and dash into fourth. This is his race. He's a long distance specialist. I love the $2.15 about him. I'm really interested in, you never know, really smart trotter for Tony Hurley. He's got to be a big chance as well, given what he's shown us both up north and now down south.
It's interesting, a couple of the fillies dodging Tracy the Jet and lobbing here in the Derby over distance, a Bibty Pat and also Gatesy's Gem. He's still not trotting 100% meant to be, which is slightly concerning, but I think somewhat mitigated by the extra trip here as they step out in distance over the longer distance. I think he'll have more time to balance up and get into a little bit of a rhythm. But you never know is my on-top selection in this race, Michael. I think he was excellent last week. It was his first run left-handed. It was his first run at Addington. So I think he'll be the improver of the group. There should be natural improvement for those two reasons. And he just savaged the line into just behind Tracy the Jet and Gatesy's Gem the other day. So he's a value in the race for mine, but concede it does look finally the perfect race set up for meant to be.
Oh, and of course you can back him top two, Britt. He's $1.90 a place. I'm now sounding like a broken record. I've actually backed him as well. I had 3 bets when these odds came out last night, and well done to Ben Grimshaw and the team at the TRB for getting them out so early. I do think meant to be is the best of them at the moment. I think you never know is going to end up undoubtedly an open class, and by the time he gets there, most of our good open class horses now are going to be retired. So he could be a real force over the next couple of years. Spoke to Tony Hurley today. He was flying back down to Canterbury to look after him and drive him. He said he'll roll off the gate. He doesn't expect him to blast off the gate, but he'll roll off the gate, so he should get tactical advantage over meant to be. Not sure he'll beat him. Like you guys, I sort of think meant to be might be the best at the moment, but I think the top 2, which will be shopping probably north of $3, really good value for him. And again, I wouldn't be stunned if he won.
Group 1 Woodland stud Trotting Oaks. The Group 1s continue. Michael, straight back to you. Is it pretty simple again here? Tracy the Jet, does she go bang again?
I think she leads, and I think you're right, Dale goes straight to her back. I spoke to John Dunn. I know you guys had him on earlier, but I spoke to him for a Herald story, and he said, look, she was cruising last week. I've got to believe him. I can't see any reason why if Tracy the Jet leads, she doesn't slide straight to her back, and you've got your ready-made Quinella. I won't pay much, but I find it hard to believe she's going to run past Tracy the Jet, Greg, because I don't see Tracy the Jet having any pressure, so therefore she'll run home as quick as she likes, and she was just jogging last week. But if you're right, Dale behaves, it should be an absolute good thing, Quinella.
Yeah, it should be. The 1980 was obviously big part of the decision for Jess Tubbs and Don Martello and the team there. You're right, Dale was jogging. I think it might have got close to Gatesy's Gem. I think that's how well she was travelling. So, yeah, it's pretty lock and loaded 1-2, and I don't see her running past Tracy.
I did think you're right, Dale, at her quickest off the gate was a little chance of getting across Tracy the Jet last week, but she was only able to get a neck, not even half a length, so it makes it awfully hard now for her drawn side by side once more to think she's going to cross her. But I think they'd be pretty happy to tuck on to the helmet of James Herbertson, because what he does on this filly is he rolls at a genuine tempo. He's not going to stack them up and try and rip home in a really quick last 200 or 300 metres. She'll get her chance, you're right, Dale, tracking Tracy the Jet everywhere she goes. It's just whether or not she can come off her back and go past her.
I think she can. I reckon $4 is a crazy price for her. She's extremely fast, and when she won the Group 2 here by half the straight, the $60,000 race, I think they're giving you a bit of a generous price there, $4. We'll find out anyway. Tracy the Jet might just be too good, but hard to say after you're right, Dale broke last time. Group 2 Continental Event Hire, Grand Duchess Mares for the Trotters. Walking on Sunshine, Greg, could not have gone any better here last week. I thought one of the runs of the day. She's just got to get the start right.
Yeah, she's been going super for ages without winning. If she gets the start right, 1 off 10's a little bit of a concern because you've got Faith in Manchester, Hidden Talent, and Empire City, who was excellent in the same race on Cup Day. I can see why she's come up 320 favourite. I think Empire City is back where Phil Williamson wants her. It's not easy to win off a mark, but against your own sex. And Faith in Manchester, they've made the effort to bring her down for this, and the man they call the Wizards having a stare.
I Dream of Jeannie for me in this race, I think, is a little over the odds. I know the back-to-back consecutive noughts in her numerical form line don't look too pretty, and she's probably been below her best in those two events as well, but go back a few starts ago and she was really testing those open class boys. So back to Mare's company. She's had a little break between runs, and if she can get close to her best off 10 metres, Michael, I thought that she was probably the best handicapped in a pretty tough race to sort through.
I'm with you, my little Queensland buddy. I'm thinking not only I Dream of Jeannie, but Hidden Talent, who was really good at Ashburton, even though it was only a sixth. I thought you could split bet them both. You're talking open class horses who are genuinely good open class horses. They are factors in Rowe Cups and Dominions on their best form. I don't like backing horses off handicaps, everybody knows that. But if you're getting good horses, $13, $11, you don't need to put a lot on. I love the fact we have mares racing in this country now for trotters. I think it's fantastic. It's been a great addition because the fields are so big no matter where they go. But I'm happy to split those two. Faith of Manchester could absolutely be part of it. It's a really cool race, and Matt, I think it's so good we finally got to the stage where we can put our trotting mares against our trotting mares, and obviously plenty of trainers agree.
Your best, Greg?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Ripples. I think it's a very big winning chance for me, so happy to be with it. I know the inside second row draw gives Luke McCarthy options. $3 is about the right price, so happy to go with Ripples this week.
Britt?
For me, Ready, Set, Jet at Addington here on Friday night. I agree that I think a lot of those feature race markets are pretty close to the mark, and therefore I'm struggling to see value, particularly with a few shorties. But led up over the 3,200 metres here on Cup Day, just got a little weary late, back to the 2.6 and off the front mark, a similar beginning to his last couple of efforts. He should be out in front again, and hopefully that's enough to see him home.
Michael, you've given us a lead into a couple that you like the price of. What have you found as the standout?
Braveheart Highlander, I think he's flying. And I think he's in a field full of horses who aren't flying. And his 10-metre handicap doesn't bother me at all because it's a small field. If he comes up 3.5, I hadn't seen that price. I'll be getting into that the second we go off here because that is good money. Jacob Dunn is driving really well. It was my chance for the Boost This Week team, and I think very cheekily we asked if we could have a boost on Kingman, which I didn't think they would give us, but we got $1.80. Like, seriously, that's just good, Matthew. It's just good.
Yep, we like it. Well, you might as well go make that bet 4 and 5 for the week, Michael. My best of the week is Scrunch in the last race at Addington. And we cheekily asked John Dunn what he thought, gave us a bit of confidence earlier as well when we spoke to him. Penalty-free win here a couple of starts ago for Gianpaolo Manucci up there at Kaikoura. What a man. And he, of course, backed up with another one with He Ain't Fake. And just quickly on that race, wasn't that one heck of a race on Cup Day?
Well, it depends who you are. If you backed it at $1.85, it was some watch. If you were Phil Williamson...
That's a spectacle.
Well, post-race, Phil Williamson, I think Mark Cookson said, what do you do with him next? He said, give him a week off, which was pretty funny.
Yeah,
that was
wonderful.
pretty funny.
All right, Michael, thanks for the boost. Thanks for your bets and your insight. We'll catch you next week.
Hey, congratulations, guys, on a great week of coverage last week. Good luck on Friday, because I'm sure there's some pretty tired people around, as there are going to be some pretty tired little ponies.
Right, we should bounce off it though.
No problem at all, mate.
All right, looking forward to get amongst it with you guys on Friday Night Lights with Brecon Farms. That has been the box seat. Until next time, catch you later.